Content previews in Metrix is an optional module. Not everybody needs to buy this. Some people will look at this and say, that's neat, but I just wouldn't use it. I don't put content in Metrix. I do it later in my pre-press workflow. But a good majority of our customers do put content all the time, or at least some of the time, into their Metrix project. The way it works is incredibly simple, and there's actually another little feature that comes into play. A product in Metrix is, by default, just a rectangle, and it has bleeds or not. And if I pull this up here, I can see that this has no content file assigned to it. The easiest way, well, one way is I could hit select and navigate out and try to find a file. The other way is I can just go into the operating system and drag and drop my content files to assign them. So let's do that to a couple of these here. And let's take a look at what I've done. When I click on the product, I can see the content file is assigned. And what's pretty neat is that I can click the previews button and see the content. There's for that one. This one actually looks the same. On the back, I think they're a little different. This one and this one have not yet been assigned, and that's where we see the grid. Let's do that. I'm going to drag this one onto there, and the rack card, I'll grab that one as well, and it assigns it, and as quick as it can, it creates a preview for it. But it's important to understand the preview is being created from the PDF. Now these are real small PDF files and it just happens very, very fast. But where it happens, where we see indication, is down here in the bottom corner. A little preview area will appear and show the progression of the creation of that when it occurs. This one it happens so fast. Let's take a look at an example of where it doesn't happen quite so fast. Let me save this. And I'm going to open up, I think this one's a little larger. Oh, you see it's creating the previews right there. So this one had the PDF assigned already, and as it opened the project up, it created the PDFs, and it was about as fast as it could be hoped to be done. It was very quick. I'm not sure if I have a project in my database that doesn't have content assigned at the moment, but that's the whole idea. When content is assigned and it's opened and you click the preview button, we'll give you as quickly as possible the previews. Now there's a couple of things that affect this that's important to understand. One is we need to read the PDF content to create the previews. So if the content file assigned to this is a gigabyte in size, it's going to take some time for us to create the previews. It's just going to take time. The second is if the content file is across the network, it's going to take probably more time than if it's on your local hard drive. If you have a wireless connection to your network and the content is across the network, it's probably going to be yet again slower. If the content files are not on a local area network but a wide area network, again, that could increase the time. The last thing that affects it is the CPU speed of the machine that you're using. All of these factors combined mean that some things will happen so fast you don't even realize it's creating PDFs, and sometimes you need to sit and wait. So optimizing some of those factors I just talked about will definitely aid in the speed at which you see the previews. A couple other things at play here. If I look at the products, let's look at the cover here. You can see that I see the folio here, BC and FC, and on the inside front, inside back. Turn the previews off. They're coming from here. Some people love it that we superimpose those on the content. Other people don't. You've got a choice. In user preferences, content previews, you can say, I don't want to see those. Okay, we turn them off. Another thing, and this will be probably better illustrated with that other project I had. You have a choice in here, and this actually affects the performance as well, to say, I am not so interested in speed. I just want high quality previews. If that means they're slower, that's fine. Other people would say, no, I'm finding my previews are a little slow. I've got an older machine, or my content is large, or it's across the network. I'm interested in lower quality. I just need this all to happen faster. And then, of course, there's our default. But let's bring this all the way to the other end, and we'll look at this project behind here. And it very quickly re-rasterized those products. And did you notice the difference? Probably not. I don't think I did either. But if I look at the products, it's obvious they are being rendered at a much lower quality. It'll be faster, but it's a compromise of quality. Yet if you look at the layout, it's pretty hard to say that there's much of a difference. So it really depends on your intention here. If your goal is primarily to see these products in the context of a layout, to judge ink densities and so forth, I would say you'll probably be someone who errs on the side of lower quality and faster. If you're someone who's really examining these products to see where the bleeds are and aren't, etc., this probably isn't going to cut it. Another aspect to this is the linkage to the content files themselves. Now I linked those content files from back here, but let's say something happened. For example, this 4x6 postcard, this project is saved. Let's close it. But this card, I'm going to move it, is no longer in that folder. It's elsewhere. Someone has changed its place on the network. And I go ahead and open up the project again. Metrix is going to report to me with question marks, and the file up here, the indication up here tells me I can't display it. I couldn't find the content file. So you get a nice indication of what went wrong, question marks, clearly it's not assigned, and then you could resolve that by finding the file and putting it back where it was, or from its new location, dragging and dropping it, which one is it here, the postcard, and reassigning it. And it's back again from its new location. That's one thing that can go wrong. There's, of course, many things that can go wrong on a network. Another one could be this. Let's take the rack card here. Let's close the project. I'm going to simulate some sort of file corruption. What I'm going to do is take the rack card PDF, move it somewhere else, and I'm going to take just some kind of a screenshot, for example, and bring that in here. But what I'm going to do is take that screenshot and rename it with the name of that rack card exactly as it was. So I have a file in here called rackcard.pdf. Metrix will find that rack card, but it will clearly not be what Metrix is expecting. What's going to happen? Let's open up the project. And we can see we've got some symbols here. Metrix is saying, I can't display those. The content file can't be read, and it actually could be corrupted. So one of the files simply can't be found. It's just not there. The other one, it read something, but it clearly was not what it was expecting, and it says there's something wrong with the file. So two very different situations, both actually quite plausible, realistic situations, and Metrix copes with them a little differently and gives you some clues as to what's going on. Lots of things can happen on a network, like I said, but these are two pretty common ones. The Content Previews module is a very simple module. Most of the time just simply works. We get some indications when things aren't, but it's a very powerful module for those that would find this helpful by bringing content into their projects.